Okay, if you're a leader, you probably pride yourself on making rational decisions, right? You weigh the data, you analyze the options, you choose the logical path. But what if that feeling of control is, well, mostly just an illusion? We're about to dive into the mental traps based on the amazing work of David McRaney that cause even the sharpest executives to stumble. Think of this as your guide to outsmarting your own brain.
So let me ask you straight up. Are your decisions and your team's decisions truly rational? It's a trickier question than it sounds because our brains are absolute masters at telling us a good story. They create these narratives that make us feel confident and in control, even when that confidence is, let's just say, a little bit misplaced.
And this gets us right to the heart of what we can call the rational leader myth. We all love to think our big calls are born from pure, cold, hard logic. But the truth? As David McRaney lays it out, we're all wired for a bit of self-delusion. It's not a flaw, it's just how we operate. We build these stories to make sense of everything. And sometimes those stories drift pretty far from reality.
But you know what? Just admitting that this myth exists is the first huge step toward better leadership. Once you accept that everyone, including you, is susceptible to these hidden biases, you can actually start to build defenses against them. So let's get practical and break down some of the biggest traps you and your team are probably falling into.
All right, first up is a trap that feels fantastic when you're in it. I call it the groupthink echo. It's that warm, fuzzy feeling you get when everyone on the team is nodding along, totally in agreement. But here's the thing, that quick, easy consensus, it's not a sign of genius. It's often a massive warning sign of a dangerous blind spot.
So what exactly is groupthink? It's what happens when the social pressure to be a team player becomes so powerful that it just smothers critical thinking. People want to keep the harmony, they want to avoid rocking the boat, and in the process, great ideas get ignored and really bad ideas get a free pass, all for the sake of team unity.
And here's where it gets really personal for you as the leader. The second you walk into a room, you change the entire dynamic. Your team members almost automatically will hesitate to disagree with the boss. They want to be on your side. And because of that deep-seated instinct, really important concerns can get buried, and brilliant game-changing ideas might never even be spoken out loud.
So what's the perfect recipe for a groupthink disaster? Well, psychologist Irving Janis actually nailed it. He found 3 key ingredients. First, you start with a really tight-knit team, people who genuinely like and trust each other. Second, you isolate that team, so they're not hearing any outside opinions. And third, you add a ticking clock, a high-stakes deadline. A friendly team in an echo chamber, under pressure, that is a perfect storm for a truly terrible decision.
So how do you fight this? You have to intentionally, deliberately introduce some friction. First rule, the boss speaks last. Always. That way you're not setting the tone for everyone else. Second, bring in outsiders. Get a fresh set of eyes on your plans to poke holes in your assumptions. You can also break the big group into pairs, where people are way more likely to talk candidly. And my personal favorite, officially assign someone the role of devil's advocate. Their only job is to tear the popular opinion apart.
Now, just like the first opinion you hear can anchor a discussion, the first number you hear can anchor a decision. And that brings us to our second trap, the anchoring effect. This is all about the sneaky power of the first piece of information you get.
Think about any negotiation, a salary, a project budget, anything. That first number thrown out there becomes a powerful anchor. It sets the mental starting line, and every single number that follows is judged in relation to it. Our brains just grab onto that initial data point and find it incredibly difficult to move away from it.
And the effect of this is just wild when you see it laid out. Look at this. If a negotiation starts with a high anchor, say $100,000, the final agreement gets pulled way up, landing around $95,000. But if that exact same deal starts with a much lower anchor, like $70,000, the final price ends up at just $75,000. It's the same situation, same people, but a wildly different result, all because of that first number.
And what makes this so darn tricky is that it's not a failure of logic. This is literally a feature of how our brains are wired. We're built to use shortcuts and available cues to make quick judgments about value. So even when you know that first price is totally arbitrary, your brain can't help but use it as a starting point. It's a tough one to shake.
Our third and final trap for today is honestly the most humbling one of all. It's the Dunning-Kruger illusion, or as I like to call it,
the confidence trap. This one brilliantly explains that bizarre inverse relationship between how good we are at something and how good we think we are. So here's the deal. People with very low skill in a particular area don't just perform badly. They often lack the very ability to even recognize how badly they're doing. It creates this totally backward situation where the least competent person in the room can also be the most confident. I mean, we've all seen this in action, right? From reality TV to, yes, even the boardroom. This little graph shows the whole journey perfectly. When you're a total beginner, your confidence can just shoot through the roof. Some people call this Mount Stupid. You literally don't know enough to understand how much you have yet to learn. It's only after you gain more experience that your confidence takes a much-needed nosedive into the valley of despair as you finally grasp the true complexity of it all. Real, earned confidence only comes back on the other side once you've achieved genuine expertise. And that's the real lesson here for any leader. Becoming a master isn't just about accumulating knowledge. It's about developing an accurate map of your own ignorance. The path to true expertise is paved with the humility of knowing just how much there is left to learn. All right, we've walked through the traps. Now for the most important part. Let's boil all this down into a simple, practical playbook you can use to start making smarter decisions starting today. Number 1. Make it a rule to challenge consensus. If everyone in the room agrees on something really quickly, that shouldn't be a moment for celebration. It should be a giant red flag. As a leader, it's your job to create a space where disagreement isn't just allowed, it's actively encouraged.
Second, always question the first number. Before you even step foot into a negotiation or a budget meeting, you need to have done your homework. Figure out your own anchor based on real data, not on whatever numbers someone else decides to throw out first. Don't let their starting point control the whole game.
And finally, number 3. You have to relentlessly seek out honest feedback. It's the only real antidote to the Dunning-Kruger illusion. You have to build systems where people feel safe enough to tell you the truth about your ideas, your performance, everything, without any fear of getting punished for it.
Look, these biases are just part of being human. You're never going to get rid of them completely. But by understanding them, you can build new habits and systems to push back against their influence. So the real question isn't if you're falling into these traps. You are. We all are. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Which one will you start with?